Now that we have set up our data sources, it's time to move on and create some interesting charts and hence put them all together to create our Google Data Studio report. To do that, let's add some charts to our dashboard. You can add charts by using Insert menu and choosing one of the charts from the huge list. Or you can click on Add a chart over here and choose one of the charts visually and helping you understand what will be the chart look like. We will start this by creating a table chart. Click on the table chart and place it wherever suits you. I will place it on the top left corner and then increase its size if required. This is a default table chart and you can see its lot of properties over here in the right side. Usually all the charts come up with two different kind of property settings. One is data and the other is style. Under the data settings, initially you can choose to have the same data source or you can choose to edit the data source. You can also go ahead and do data blending that we have learned recently. The option of date range dimension helps you very well if you want to compare the values under different time periods. Now comes the most important part, the dimension. The status column that you see over here with its all values is the dimension that is being set up over here. If you want to change the dimension, there are two ways. Either you can click on the default dimension and then choose one of the existing ones. Let's say, for example, state. You can then further add another dimension if you want. Let's say, choose country. You could have done this similar action in a different way. You could have chosen country from the right side and then dragged it onto the dimension. This way as well, you can choose to add dimensions to your table. There is a further option of drill down that will enable to see only the first dimension initially and then allow the user interactively in the dashboard to drill down further under country. If you want to show both the dimensions together, you can disable this. Now comes another important part, the metric. By default, the record count is the metric. Let's change it to sum of sales. Sum is by default the aggregation for all of these metrics. However, if you want to change it, let's say to count, median, distinct, average, you can do that from here. There are options to add optional matrix or matrix sliders. You can also choose to show how many rows you want to show in the chart initially. Let's say I want to choose only 20 rows initially. Then I can only show 20 rows initially and there will be an arrow mark that will help to go to the next 30. There is an option of summary row which you can check to show the grand total in the chart. There is an option to do sorting, primary and secondary, change the default date range and also add a filter. Using add a filter, you can restrict the data in the table to show only a certain value. For example, let's say I only want to show the data for country USA. I can click on add a filter, name country, it includes country which is equal to, and then I write USA. I will click on save. If you now look at the dashboard or the chart contains only the country USA as the filter has been added. If you want to remove the filter, click on the cross icon and the filter will be removed and now you will be seeing the entire data set. Amazing. What next is the Style tab. Style tab is another very useful and important tab to enhance any visualization. You can choose to add conditional formatting. For example, if you want to highlight the rows where the sales is greater than 300,000, you can do that using the conditional formatting option. You can do multiple styling in the table. You can choose to change the font, color and size of the table headers, table colors, table labels, table body, etc. There is a lot that you can do under the Style tab to make this table appealing and of course beautiful. Let's go back to the Data tab. In fact, we have now covered the simple table chart. What we will now do is enhance this table chart to show table with bars. Click on table with bars and the chart will change. What you are now seeing is the same table chart that we were previously seeing, but the values are now replaced with bars. Rest every dimension, rest every setting, rest every property is same. However, under the Style tab, you can choose to change the color of the bars and do a few more settings. Let's say you want to use a lighter blue, that you can do over here very quickly. There is another option of table with heat map. Click on that. Here you will see the gradient of colors along with numbers. So it's more of a combination of a bar and numbers and you can see them together. What we will also cover is the pivot table, which is slightly different from the regular table. The difference between table and pivot table is that table had only one dimension, whereas the pivot table now has two dimensions, that is a row dimension and a column dimension. Row dimension is the state and column dimension is the country. You can choose to change any of them. Let's say I do not want the column dimension as a country, rather I want the dimension to be status. Awesome. I now have a beautiful pivot table which has state as the row dimension and status as the column dimension. You can now choose to show the grand total under rows and you can even do that under columns. How amazing is this chart and how quick it is to create that in Google Data Studio. There are a lot of further settings under Style that you can see and explore by yourself. Very quickly, the other two pivot table types are pivot table with bars, which is similar to the table with bars, and pivot table with heat map. These are the different kind of table charts, regular table charts and pivot table charts that are very commonly and very widely used in Google Data Studio reports. Try out these charts by yourself. Explore the different options under data and style and make your chart stand out. Let's continue to look at other multiple chart types. Thank you.